Hi everyone, it's me, Deborah Laram, back again to work on the lessons in the Course in Miracles. It's getting pretty exciting as we go day by day, undoing what we have done in all our training since birth on. We're on lesson number 4 today, and it's interesting how it's going to go about. But before we do that, let's do the prayer on page 28. I always love that one because it does help to clear the mind. Okay, turn to page 28. Are you ready? Here we go. I am here only to be truly helpful. I am here to represent Him who sent me. I do not have to worry about what to say or what to do because He who sent me will direct me. I am content to be wherever He wishes, knowing He goes there with me. I will be healed as I let Him teach me to heal. There's so much in that prayer. And sometimes I do the short version, and that I got from Marianne Williamson in the ACIM radio program I told you about yesterday, if you were listening. And she gave a beautiful example. Make me the woman you would have me be. Have me go where you would have me go. Have me say what you would have me say, and to whom. It's pretty simple. And that way, I am a channel. Just like the prayer of St. Francis. Have me be a channel of your peace. It's a wonderful idea, a wonderful way to go about the day. Let's get right into the lesson because it's a little bit different this time. Rather than starting with the idea for the day, it asks you to think about your thoughts. I'll show you what I mean. Here we go. Lesson number 4. These thoughts do not mean anything. What thoughts? We'll get to that. They are like the things I see in this room, on this street, from this window, in this place. And here's the explanation. Unlike the preceding ones, these exercises do not begin with the idea for the day. In these practice periods, begin with nothing but the thoughts that are crossing your mind for about a minute. Then apply the idea to them. If you are already aware of unhappy thoughts, use them as subjects for the idea. Do not, however, select only the thoughts that you think are bad. You will find, if you train yourself to look at your thoughts, that they represent such a mixture that, in a sense, none of them can be called good or bad. This is why they don't mean anything. In selecting the subjects for the application of today's idea, the usual specificity is required. Do not be afraid to use good thoughts as well as bad thoughts. None of them represents your real thoughts, which are being covered up by them. The good ones of which you are aware of are but shadows of what lies beyond. And the shadows make sight difficult. The bad ones are blocks to sight and make seeing impossible. You do not want either. This is a major exercise and will be repeated from time to time in somewhat different form. The aim here is to train you in the first steps toward the goal of separating the meaningless from the meaningful. It is a first attempt in the goal of separating the meaningless from the meaningful. It is a first attempt in the long-range purpose of learning to see the meaningless as outside of you and the meaningful within. Good to know. It is also the beginning of training your mind to recognize what is the same and what is different. In using your thoughts for application of what is the same and what is the idea for today, identify each thought by the central figure or event it contains. For example, this thought about fill in the blank does not mean anything. It is like the things I see in this room or wherever you are. You can also use the idea for a particular thought which you recognize as harmful. This practice is useful, but is not a substitute for the more random procedures to be followed in the exercises. Do not, however, examine your mind for more than a minute or so. You are too inexperienced as yet to avoid a tendency to become pointlessly preoccupied. Further, since these exercises are the first of their kind, you may find the suspension of judgment in connection with thoughts particularly difficult. Do not repeat these exercises more than 3 or 4 times during the day. We will return to them later. All right then. So, let your mind go about its thoughts and then just say, these thoughts don't mean anything. These are just random thoughts that go by. Kind of like that tape strip where the lights light up and the words go by, or at the bottom of a newsreel you see the words going by of the latest things that, I'm not explaining it right, but you know what I'm talking about. That's how thoughts run through your mind. I find it interesting. Sometimes I've actually talked to people and asked them what they're thinking, and they say, I don't know. And that is like so not true. There are always thoughts going through your mind. Even if it's, I'm not thinking of anything, and I really don't know why I'm not thinking of anything, or, ooh, that tree out there is really kind of cool looking, or, I don't know. You know what I mean. There are reasons why we are doing this exercise. We want to separate the meaningful from the meaningless. To see the meaningless things as being outside of you, and the meaningful as being within you. And to train the mind to recognize what is the same and what is different. This is very, very powerful. And once we set up that kind of understanding, it will make a difference in how we make our decisions and how we see the world. There's a very wise woman that I met. Her name is Reverend Bev, and I will always give her credit for this one saying, because I think it's really very, very clever and wise. Rather than change the world, change your mind about the world. And we are learning to see differently. A miracle is a change in perception. And Reverend Bev would say, to realize the difference in the world by looking with your real eyes. I love that. That's really so cool. And not your ego eyes or your mortal eyes, but to use the eyes the way that God sees the world. Because God sees you as beautiful, perfect, and whole. Not the way some people might see you as. I'm not even going to say it. You know, all the judgments that can be said. Because God doesn't see you anything less than perfect, whole, and complete. In spirit, all is good. After all, we are spiritual beings here just having an earthly experience, rather than human beings searching to find that spiritual experience, which makes all the difference in the world. Again, it's been a pleasure spending time with you, and I am honored. And I'm honored and grateful that I have learned so much through the Course in Miracles, that it has come to my heart so that I can share it with your heart. Until the next time, thank you so much for being with me.